I mean, I go in, right? I go in, and I mean, the first couple of questions, I'm able to answer them confidently. So, right. I don't know what happened in the middle of the interview. Yo, I got so nervous.
Something happened.
Something happened. I got so
Sure.
nervous to the point where I lost my train of thought. You know, you know when you are answering, but you don't know what you are saying, but you can hear that I am speaking. Yeah, but you don't know what you say. You know, I mean, it was so horrible. I mean, it was the worst for me. I mean, it was so horrible. I mean, to a point where I left the room, right? And I had a choice of leaving the room and going back to the waiting area where everybody was sitting, right?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not going there. I'm going home. Now my reason of applying, now my reason of applying to this campus, right, has been activated. Now I can take the car and just leave.
So you're excluding
You
yourself
know?
already. You're like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
was like,
going
no,
to
I'm
stay
done.
here.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way that I'm coming back from this. No way.
Was it that bad?
It was that bad. It was really, really that. I mean, simple questions that they were asking me. I mean, I couldn't, right? I couldn't. I was stuttering. I wasn't making sense, you know. I wasn't cohesive, you know. I was like, no, you know, I'm leaving, you know. And
Sure.
I remember just walking out of that room and just leaving the entrance. And I was like, I'm leaving. And nobody knew, right? I didn't see any of the other candidates on my way out, right? And I was like, I'm leaving, right? I tried
So
my
you're going
best.
home.
I'm going home now, you know? What I came to do here, I've done it. I've, I've done it to the best of my ability. Now it's time for me to leave, right? I came with a car, I got inside the car, and I was on my way out, right? As I was approaching the security gate, right? As I was approaching the security gate, ready to sign and just leave, right? As I was approaching the security gate, Dr. T, I remembered your coat. I mean, I don't know why that coat, right? And because it's something that I had saved, I mean, quite a long time ago, right? It's something that I saw, I think, on LinkedIn, and I read it and I liked it, and I was like, I'm just saving this, you know, for future reference, right? But out of nowhere, I remembered your coat, right?
Okay.
And I was like, but I don't even know this guy properly. Like, I've seen him on social media. I don't even remember the guy, right? But somehow, in this point in juncture, I get to remember this quote, right? And I didn't remember the exact words because I hadn't memorized it, right? But I was like, I remember that this quote said something along the lines of, let the panel decide, you know?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's a quote from the book. I think it
Yes.
goes yes, I used to do that. I don't know why I stopped. I must now you're encouraging me. Now I need to do this.
Please. Yes.
So you are right. I think it's an extract where I said, do not exclude yourself. Let the panel decide.
Let the panel decide, right?
Yeah.
And I mean,
So you are remembering this while you are at the gate now, having excluded yourself, you are going home.
Yes. And nobody knows.
You remember the code.
Nobody knows. No lecturer knows. The admin person who opened the door, I mean, nobody knows. My friends, they do not know. Family, they do not know, right? I've just taken an individual decision to just leave, right? And out of nowhere, right, I remember your coat,
Wow,
right?
wow.
Do
I'm putting
not
quotes
just
this year. I'm putting quotes. This year I'm gonna put many quotes.
the whole year, right?
This year I'm putting
I'm
wow.
like, don't disqualify yourself. Let the panel
Wow.
decide. I mean, I'm not even
Wow.
joking, right? I immediately stopped. I mean,
Wow.
I immediately stopped. And mind you, the security was approaching the car, right?
Wow.
I was just
To
short
give you the
of just
book to sign.
the $1 million
Wow.
signature and leave,
Wow.
right?
My man, welcome. I read a very emotional or moving message on LinkedIn,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
thought it's good that we feature you and we hear more about it. So, just as a way of introduction, if you can just give us a brief background about who's Nkosi or Nkosingiphile and where you come from for those who don't know you. So, welcome and over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. T. I'm happy to be here, happy to be having this conversation with you. So yeah, my name is Nkosingiphile Makhathini. Most people know me by my surname, by the way, Makhathini. So if you were to be around here or anywhere where I've worked before, you would know me by my surname. So I am from KwaZulu-Natal, from a small town called Escort. I stay at a township. I'm a Kasi boy through and through. So yeah, formative years I studied here. My primary school at a school called Drakensview Primary School, which is based here in Escort. Then I moved thereafter to Greyton High School, where I did my high schooling years. Then yeah, did my undergrad at the University of the Free State. Then I completed my honors degree at SACAP, the Durban campus. So yeah,
Oh, you went to SACAP. Wow, wow,
yeah.
wow. I think you are the third, if not the fourth person from SACAP. How was the honors at SACAP?
It was quite challenging and quite different from the traditional honors program. And I'm taking
Mm,
that from other people who have done their honors from different institutions. When you have those conversations with them, you realize that it's quite different. It's different in the sense that it's more interactive. So you get to have like conversations more rather than your traditional way of having a lecturer in front, have them
mm.
deliver a lecture and so forth. But it was also quite flexible. It
Is it?
wasn't, yeah, it wasn't a lot of work. It was work that one could be able to manage throughout the year. So it was pretty
Which
chill, I have to say.
awesome. Which year was that?
It was in 2023. Yes.
2023. And how did you manage with the fees? I hear private and fees if it's something else.
Hey, doc. Hey, hey. I
You
mean,
survived.
it was tough. Private education. It was quite tough on my mother because one thing that I forgot to mention
Yeah.
is that I am raised by a single parent.
Mm,
So all sorts of expenses they
yeah.
fall onto her. So it was quite challenging. having to pay for the school fees and also for accommodation because it's situated in an area whereby even accommodation is quite expensive. So, she was able to, manage it the best way that she could. But yeah, it's quite
So what
expensive.
advice? So what advice would you give for those who are considering going to a private institution for their orders? Because it's difficult to get in psychology, but you might find private is an option for somebody. What advice will you give them, given your experience at SACAP? Because I get that a
I
lot,
mean,
where people ask
yeah,
me, how
yeah,
will
yeah,
they pay? And probably maybe you explored all the options, and what advice can you give those?
yeah, yeah. So the point that we're speaking about right now, the money factor, it's just one of those huge things that you can't ignore going
Mm,
to a private institution, So you could explore student bursaries. You could explore as well loans from the
mm,
banks. But if you have parents or guardians that can afford, it's a different case for that person. But it's
yeah,
quite pricey, and I heard this year it's even more. I think
is
they've
it?
added
Wow.
another 5 or 10K on top of what we used to pay
Yeah.
back then.
Mm,
So yeah,
mm.
it's a huge financial sacrifice.
I hear you. So you are from Ekasi like me, and obviously Ekasi, there were no psychologists, at least in my background. So how did you come to know about psychology and decide to follow it?
True. I mean, growing up, I've never heard of someone wanting to become a psychologist.
Mm,
And I've never seen one,
mm,
prior to me going to university, where it
mm,
was my very first time hearing about psychology,
mm,
and
mm,
also coming across a psychologist. So that's when I got the chance to interact with a psychologist, get a bit of background, a bit of information with regards to the program. Because for me to even get to this point of me wanting to become a psychologist, it wasn't something that I dreamed of.
mm.
Back in high school, I wanted to become a doctor, and marks were not good.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
physics
You are
marks
not
were not
alone. You are
good.
not alone. You are not
Yeah,
alone.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm a
you
doctor
know.
now. I'm a doctor.
You're a doctor.
Not
And
that
hopefully I
one.
get
Not
there
that
too,
one.
eh?
Yeah. You
But yeah,
get there. You get there.
I went to university. I had the dream of becoming a doctor. My mother was like, just go to university and just be in that environment, explore what's there. Because I was very set on becoming a medical officer. I had no other option.
Mm, mm,
So I went to university at the University of the Free State. I'm a proud
mm.
Kopsi. I went
Wow.
there at the Dogba campus. Upon my arrival, I registered, and it happened that psychology was one of the modules that I registered for.
Mm,
So I loved it from the word go. I was very
mm,
interested in what was being taught in class.
mm.
Um, but I remember it wasn't enough for me
Yeah.
then to decide that I'm pivoting. I am choosing a different career. Up until I had some personal issues
Mm,
that I had during my first year, and that pushed me towards seeking for assistance
mm,
at the psych department, on
mm,
campus. Then we explored a bit of, career counseling, and, a few options were given, such as your lawyer,
mm,
teacher, and psychology was also amongst those careers uh,
mm,
that
mm,
were brought forth, during those conversations.
mm,
Um, then, I mean, I fell in love, the more that I interacted, especially with the psychologist, because
mm,
remember, I come from Ekasi. We don't really speak much about our emotions. We don't really much speak about the issues, that we go through. So getting that opportunity of having to speak to someone, I was like, yo, no, man, I think I'm loving this, you know, I think I'm
Yeah.
enjoying this, I feel
Yeah.
lighter.
Yeah, boy,
Uh, life is a bit clearer, you know.
yeah.
So from that experience, I knew then that I want to be able to do this for someone else, right? Especially from people who are coming from my background. So that's how I came across psychology.
Before I go any further, you know that this channel aims to help you level up your life and career. I've personally developed this self-paced courses that will put you on your path to success. I encourage you that you visit the course platform and explore the courses that we have on offer. To access the course, just click on the link on the introduction video and it will lead you into the course platform. Alternatively, you can go to the description of the video that you are watching and you will see a link written a course. Click on that link and it will also lead you to the course platform. All the best as you explore the courses we have on offer. Let's continue with the video.
Which level of study were you at that time?
First year, I was doing my first year.
First year. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
first year.
And so you then know you want to follow a career. And at what point did you start to understand the requirements to become a psychologist?
Sure. You'd be surprised. Um, I think I started getting the hold of the requirements, I think on my last year of my
Last year.
undergrad degree. Yeah. I mean, it was
Sure.
said in between, right? It was said in between,
Yeah.
but
But it never clicked.
it never clicked, right?
Sure.
But when I got to my last year, I was like, oh damn, I still have to
Yeah.
do my honors. I have to do my masters.
Yeah.
Even then, it's not guaranteed that in your first attempt, you're going to
Yeah.
make it in, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I mean, let me go forth. I've come this far, not to let go of everything. I'm willing to
Mm,
challenge myself and just to see how quickly I get into the program. And
mm,
yeah,
mm.
yeah. So yeah, third year, I would say third year.
And so you when did you complete the third year?
Um, there's also another interesting story
Yeah.
with regard to the completion of my undergraduate degree.
Okay.
It took me longer than
Okay.
usual. It took me longer than usual. It
What's
took
that? Is it
me
4 years, 5 years?
it took me 7 years.
Jesus is Lord. You really
Yeah,
wanted to become a doctor. You wanted to take your time at varsity.
really. I mean, it took me 6 to 7 years,
Yo,
um, but also like challenges along the way. Hey, I
yeah,
mean, I struggled. I struggled academically.
is
Um,
it?
yes, but here I wasn't. It wasn't only my academics, right? It was
Hmm,
my personal issues that I was having on the
I
side
see. I
affecting my
see.
performance at school.
Yeah.
So I really struggled. I changed um, degrees. I had to move from Qwaqwa to the
Mm,
Bloemfontein campus. At some point, I was excluded.
mm,
So it was really, really a rough patch
mm, mm,
coming
mm,
to
mm.
finally completing my degree, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why when I got to honors and I was like, yo, I have to do this again. I have to
Sure.
do this again. But I was willing to do that because I was really determined to to
Yeah.
get into the program and to one day practice, as a psychologist.
So ultimately, when then did you end up finishing your third year in psychology, the degree?
I finished it in 2021. Yes.
2021. Okay.
Yeah.
And then did you immediately then get accepted to SACEP in 2022?
No. So I didn't know about SACEP as well in 2022.
Okay.
Yes, I didn't know about SACEP in 2022, but I did apply to other universities. I was
Mm.
rejected. Yes, I was rejected. I think I applied to 4 or 5 universities, and I
Perfect.
was only, sorry?
David, do you recall which names are those universities? Which ones are those?
Sure. I mean, I can't recall after so many
Yeah.
rejections that I've got.
Okay. But anyway, it's fine. I think we'll get
Yeah.
to either way, we'll get to the names when we get to the master's application.
Yes.
But the point is that you applied to about 4 or maybe 5, and you never got accepted. These are public universities only.
Yes, I got rejected, but I was only shortlisted for VET.
Oh, wow.
Yes, which was an encouragement, Oh,
Yeah,
okay. This is possible, right?
yeah.
And so I think in 2022, that's when I just decided to basically work. So there was this program of educational assistance
Yeah.
that was put forth by the Department of Education. I was part of that program as well.
Mm.
And yeah, I took that year off and I basically worked. Then towards the last few months, that's when I discovered SACAB. And I
Mm.
applied and I found out that it wasn't as difficult as it is with traditional universities or public universities. Then yeah, I got in, thereafter.
Okay. So 2021, you complete 2022, you are working, and 2023, you are at SACEP, and you completed in 2023, the same year.
Yes,
And then what happened then in 2024? I assume you applied for masters.
yes. I did apply for masters.
Yeah.
Also, I haven't really limited myself in terms of applying for masters. I've always believed in just, trying your luck,
Mm.
with all universities. So I applied to most universities, and I was rejected. Um, I wasn't invited to any selection week whatsoever.
When you say like
Um,
most, you mean like maybe more than 5?
yeah, more than 5. Yeah, more than 5.
Okay.
Yeah, more than 5.
And
Um,
did you only apply for clinical?
I only applied for clinical.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I only applied for clinical. It is only when I got rejected and I was
Mm.
applying for 2025
Yeah.
that I started considering other fields. Uh, but to be honest with you, it was just a conversation that I was having with myself of wanting to explore other fields, knowing for a fact that I wanted to apply for clinical.
Mm. Mm.
So, I mean, I ended up applying for clinical again,
Mm.
after
Mm.
having that internal conversation, talking to mentors, encouraging me
Mm.
to explore other fields.
Mm.
But I applied for clinical, but oh, also, in 2025, I tried to apply for research, research, that's a research program, because I had
Okay,
this thing
wait,
in my
wait,
mind.
Nkosi. Nkosi, wait. So 2024, you applied to more than 5. So you never got any invite for anything at all
No,
for
no,
the
no,
interview in
no,
2024.
wait, no, wait, no, wait, no, wait. I'm thinking about
Yeah,
2023 here. I beg your pardon.
yeah.
So
The honors
2023,
were.
during my
Yeah.
honors year,
Oh, yes.
yeah,
During your honors at SACAP, yes.
yeah, yes, I got
No invite.
rejected.
No
Yes.
invite at all for 2024. Then
Yes.
2024. So what are you doing in 2024?
So in 2024, I have gotten this graduate internship program that is
Okay.
offered by CETA thingy.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So
Then
I
you
was
apply
earning a
again.
stipend. Yes. Then I did apply again. So for
You are using the
2024, I did
stipend to
receive,
apply.
yes,
Okay.
yes. In 2024, I did receive a few invitations. My first invitation was at Rhodes University. Yes, that was like my very, very first invitation. Then I also got an invitation at UWC.
Okay. That was a
Um,
hope.
yes, yes, at UWC.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm
For
forgetting another
clinical.
university. Sorry?
For clinical.
Clinical. My brother, I was
So,
determined.
so, so you still applied for more universities. At least this time you got 2 invites.
Yes.
What did you say was different from the way you applied in 2023 compared to the way you applied in 2024? Maybe for somebody watching and they're wondering what changed, because some people can tell you, I used the same application, somewhere I got invited, somewhere I got rejected. Is there something significantly different in what you did in the application process?
hmm I think this time around, things were not rushed.
Yeah.
In terms of writing my autobiography, and so forth, even though it wasn't to the standard, right? Which is
Mm,
something that I would later on allude to as
mm,
to why I think that I did much better the third time I applied for
yeah.
masters. But it was there was a difference though
Mm,
between my first application round and my second application. So I took my time. I took my time in writing my autobiography. I took my time in writing my proposal. I
mm,
also aligned myself a bit differently with my references and so forth.
mm,
But also with my experience, volunteering experience. I think I
mm,
had more time the second time around,
mm,
so I think that as well played into them considering me as a
mm,
candidate and having to invite me for these interviews.
mm. And how did you then prepare yourself? How was it preparing to go to Rhodes and UWC? I'm assuming at this point now you are more focused. You want it
Yeah,
now. You've been rejected. How was it? If you can explain that process.
I mean, I'll speak from different standpoints. I
Yeah,
mean, financially, it was quite difficult. Um,
yeah,
I mean, one thing that I've come to understand is that these selection weeks are very expensive. I mean, they're very expensive. So
mm,
financially, I mean, a lot had to go in. A
mm,
lot of investments prior or
mm,
savings prior to me attending these
mm,
interviews. It required me to sometimes settle for places that were not expensive. You know,
yes.
those places where you say, as long as I have a roof above my head,
As long as I can
you know,
sleep, as long as I
I'm
can
I'm
sleep
sorted.
and make
I'm sorted. Even if I'm
yeah,
bathed with cold water, I'm just fine,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
uh, Given my financial position, right? And
yeah,
it might be different for other people, but for me,
yeah,
it was
yeah,
quite challenging. So that's the financial standpoint.
yeah.
In terms of preparing for the interviews,
Mm,
I mean, I went to YouTube, I went to
mm,
Google. I was using those streams as my main,
mm,
focus in terms of
mm,
trying to prepare for these interviews. So yeah, those two, the internet. I didn't at the
mm,
time had mentors. which is something that was different on my third round. So yeah, man, and I was inexperienced going to Rhodes, never been to a selection week. So I was a bit nervous, you know, a bit nervous. But yeah, we went there and I mean, we tried our best.
I like that.
We tried our
We did the best I can.
Yeah, yeah.
We did the best we can, and the outcome was there. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So both then Rhodes and UWC did not select you, and now you are entering into 2025. Are you still doing the internship, the the SITA internship at that time,
Yeah.
2025?
Yeah.
And so then what's then the new approach now? Because now you've been rejected. Probably now you have heard people talk about, no, don't go there, think you are going to be
Yeah.
selected for the first time. Just go there, take notes. Now you have taken
Yeah.
your notes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What's different now in 2025 when you apply?
Yeah. Yeah. Ah, you know, this time around, I knew that I had to do something different, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I knew it. I knew that I had to do something different.
yeah.
And it started off by preparing at the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
right? So how it looked like, I took some of my feedback from my previous selection weeks, took some of my feedback, I analyzed it. I even had a moment of self-reflection as well, to see which areas that I need to improve on. You know, I remember this one time at Rhodes, I had to do a role play, and I've never been in such a setting before. Oh my word. Oh my word. Let me tell you,
Oh,
it was horrible, you know, to say the
sure.
least.
I can imagine. I can
It was
imagine.
it was horrible. So I knew
Sure.
the time around that that's one of the things that I need to do different and I need to focus
Yeah.
on. But also that was one thing. Another thing was I wanted to go back to my books, to refresh my memory. You know, there are certain things that, you know, they were asking that I had forgotten. And I knew that having to go back and just read some of the things and familiarize myself, it will really be of help, if they were to ask me, right? But I think that the huge um, difference was finding people who have walked the journey. I mean, for me, that changed a lot. I mean, it really changed a lot. I did put myself out there. And it was very difficult given the fact that I'm a bit reserved, you know. I find it very difficult to sometimes approach, you know, people and stuff, you know.
People, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I knew, as I said at the beginning, I knew that I had to do something different. I knew that I had to stretch myself, in order for me to grow and also to be better prepared, you know, for the interviews. So, I mean, I was DMing people on Instagram. I was DMing people on LinkedIn. I mean, I was approaching people because I was working in a health facilities. I
Why didn't
was,
you DM me? Why didn't you
yeah,
DM? Or did I blue tick you?
right. Uh, I mean, I was DMing everybody, even because as I say, I was working. I was working at the health facilities. I was even approaching
Yeah,
people who are
yeah,
qualified, you know, psychologists
yeah.
there, you know. And I was like, oh, guys, I want to be in this field. I have a desire to be a
Yeah.
psychologist one day. Can you help me? Right? Can you help me? And let me tell you, people were willing. I mean, that's one thing that
Wow.
I noticed is that people are willing to assist, right?
Wow, wow,
Because
wow, wow, wow.
they understand how gruesome the process is, you
Mm,
know.
mm, mm,
So I
mm.
had a lot of people willing to help. I was
Wow,
asking all kinds of questions, uh,
wow,
you know.
wow,
So yeah, so the mentorship part for me was just like a big factor, I
wow.
have to say.
Wow,
Mm,
wow, wow. No, that's great, man. And I think it's a good advice that people put themselves out there. It doesn't
mhm.
help to be dying inside alone in your corner
Yeah.
while there are people, who are willing to help at any time. Actually, yesterday I was speaking to a gentleman finishing their masters at SMU, telling me, no, I want to mentor people, prepare them for selection for free. And I told him, no, I'll arrange people for you. I'll arrange people
Mhm,
because, and he was saying that, I mean, he used to work under me at some point that, he has been helped in the process and he
mhm,
feel it's time for him to give back. And there are many people like that. There are
mm,
many people like that who are willing to give back and share. But you need to
mhm.
ask. Nobody knows that you've been rejected many times and you are frustrated if you don't talk.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
need to
yeah, yeah.
talk.
True, true.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing that. So now let's get to now you are doing things different now. And obviously you ask people, you get mentors, you go on YouTube, you do everything. So where did you then decide to apply to this year?
Uh, this year, I went with the
Yeah,
same approach that I'd gone with.
same universities,
Same
no changes.
university,
I'm sure the admin knows you. Oh, Nkosi,
right? By now, right? Same field,
yeah, wow.
you know, same field,
Okay,
except for UJ,
yeah.
and UP,
Mm.
except for UJ and UP, and also UCT this time around. I
So you excluded them.
yes, and the reason being is that financially, I mean, I didn't have the financial muscle this time around to pay for all these application fees because some
Mm.
universities had application fees. So
Yeah.
when I was trying to, calculate and balance
Mm.
my books, I
That's a
knew
lot.
that this time around I can't unfortunately
Mm.
apply to all
Mm.
universities, but I trusted myself in these other universities that I applied to.
Mm.
I was
Mm.
like, something has to come up in one of these
Mm.
universities,
Mm. 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 Mm.
So yeah,
Mm.
those are the
Mm.
only three universities that I didn't apply to.
Yeah. Were you intentional about ensuring that Rhodes and UWC are part of that? Because at least you are like, hey, at least here they honor me, they invited me. Let
Yeah,
me,
yeah. And I mean, the process,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So you did apply to them as well, eh?
I did apply to Euro's universities. I also did apply to UWC. And unfortunately, this time around, I was rejected.
Yeah.
Um, because I
So
haven't
UWC
repeated.
they never invited you at UWC.
No, they did in 2024. This time around, I
Yes,
wasn't invited. Yes,
you were not invited. And Rhodes,
yes. I wasn't invited there as well.
is it interesting?
Yeah,
So, because I think it's a very interesting phenomenon to hear people that are invited, they say the same, and next
yeah,
year
yeah,
they don't get invited in the place they were invited. It's like, what
yeah,
did
yeah.
I do wrong? They're
Right,
like, no, no, we've seen this one. You don't want to see my.
right.
I'm sure there's a lot of things going in people's mind to say, and it's totally not like that. I mean, I must just
Yeah,
make it. It's not like that. It's not like they are like, oh, we've seen this one last year. We don't want to see.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. So, do you recall how many universities you applied for 2025, 2026 rather?
Sure. I mean,
Or do you the names? I mean, you obviously
I,
Rhodes and UWC,
yeah, I said all of
probably
them except
SMU.
for except for UCT, UJ, and UP.
And out of all that you have applied for, which ones invited you?
So I got invited to the University of Limpopo.
Okay.
I got to be invited at SMU. I also
Okay.
got invited at Stellenbosch and
Yeah.
UKZN.
And
UKZN,
UKZF.
yes,
Wow. One, two, three, four. Four universities.
yes.
Wow, 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 wow. It's a progress, eh? 2023, you get
Yeah,
rejected everywhere. The year after, you get 2 invites. The
yeah.
year after that, you get 4 invites. I think that's a progress. It's an
I
achievement on
mean,
its own.
a big one, a big
I
one.
think if you are not selected, at least you could say, no, maybe I'll get 6 invites the following year.
I didn't have the energy.
Wow, 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 wow. 4 universities.
Yeah.
And so which one was the first one? Do you recall?
The first university.
Yeah, that you went to.
You see, the reason why maybe I wouldn't be in liberty in
Yeah,
putting them in order is because there's still
yeah,
another story
yeah.
concerning a particular university. So
Okay, take me through
um,
the selection process of last year in whatever order that you want to take me. What happened
in
last year?
in whatever, I mean, it was a mixed bag. It was a
Yeah,
mixed bag. There was a university where I mean, I felt comfortable from the first activity. I mean, I knew my stuff, this time
mm,
around after applying for so long and after taking
mm,
so much time to prepare.
mm,
And I thoroughly enjoyed my time, thoroughly
mm.
enjoyed my time. I mean,
So you
even
felt
though,
I'm selected here. There's no other way.
yeah. I was like, no,
Yeah,
here I'm in. I remember
yeah,
having, when I was traveling back home here
yeah.
in KZN, I mean, I mean, like I was in my happy moments, celebratory
Wow,
moment, knowing that
wow.
I've made it, given how
Yeah,
I performed,
yeah.
but it
And
proved not to be the case.
so this is based on your last session of the interview, isn't it?
Uh,
Which means you went through all the panel and you went through all the days, and on the last day you felt I'm one of the selected.
Yes, yes. I was even traveling with a friend. We come
Yeah.
from the same town. We
Mm.
were also working at the same city, and I was
Yeah.
with him during that selection
Mm.
week, right? And I
Mm.
was just talking to this guy. I was like, "Yo, Donna, I know that I'm in
Ah,
here. I
boy.
know that
Wow.
you know,
Wow, wow,
you
wow.
know." And
Yeah.
I mean, to my disappointment, I didn't get it, you know. Um,
So, yeah. So they, when did you get to know? How many days after the day you left?
a day after,
So they called you or they emailed you?
they emailed me,
Wow.
right? And mind you, the guy that I was sitting with, he got
Yeah.
it, and I and I didn't get it.
You're like, no, no, no. I need to call them. Maybe there's a mistake.
Maybe there's a mistake, but
Wow.
I knew from the beginning that this might be my only competition, right?
Yeah.
Because we had similar stories. Because one thing that I
Mm.
understood with them selecting a group is that they were looking for different people, right?
Yeah.
And when I got there and I got to interact with some of the people, I knew that their
Yeah.
stories were quite different from mine. But
Mm.
when I sat with
Mm.
this dude, I was like, yo, hi, Frayaka, it's
Mm.
between me and you. you know. It's
I'm sure he
between me
was
and
afraid
you.
to tell you that, hey, he's like, hey, I'm in. Have you checked? Because you assume you're already in.
You are. It took him a while, eh? It took him a while. I think it took him like 2 or 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, yo,
Wow.
hey, bro, I'm afraid. I was afraid to tell you, but hey, I've made it. I was like, hey, as
Wow.
long as someone has made it, kokas, because we come from the same place.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So he got
And how
in,
did you feel about that? And because I mean, I can just imagine, and it happens a lot. I mean, with different people who go to the last stage of the selection, and you feel it, that
Yeah.
no, here I'm in. And
Mhm,
particularly when you are at institutions that are your first choice, where you feel
mhm.
even if I'm get selected anyway, if they take me here, I'm accepting the offer. How
Yeah.
did you take that? Because I'm assuming there were other selection after that, and probably that might have affected you.
I mean, I wanted to give up in a sense, right? Uh, but there was that encouragement because I made it to the waiting list, right? There was a
Or
bit
you
of
made it
a
to, or you were on the wait, you didn't make it, but you're on the waiting list.
waiting list, right? But
Oh,
like people
which
was
institution is
people was
this?
Stellenbosch.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah,
Spellies.
yeah,
Okay.
Stellenbosch. So there was a bit of encouragement. I didn't know how to handle it. I was encouraged,
Mm,
but at the same time I was disappointed, you know, because
yeah.
who would want to let go of that opportunity, right? To those who were
Look,
selected.
I'm yet to hear of any. If anybody's watching and you're on
Yeah.
the waiting list, please contact me. I would like to hear somebody on the waiting list of psychology who got in
Right?
because I think it's a rare space that nobody waiting list is. I think
Right?
it just pacifies you.
Yeah.
It's just a pacifier to encourage you. But I wonder if there's anybody. But maybe
Yeah.
they are. Please, if you've been a waiting list and got accepted, please contact me. I'd like to interview you
I mean, I would like to know as
and
well.
hear how it happened.
I would
So
like to know
obviously,
as
when
well.
the waiting list, you're like, waiting list, who will
I mean,
reject
I
this
didn't get
offer?
it,
Yeah,
and I had my mentors. No, I mean, it's better than, the previous,
yeah.
thingies, previous universities.
Mm.
But I was like, I'm not in.
It's not the same. It's not the same. Look, you know
Yeah.
what? On the other side, I do agree and I understand what they're saying. I think anybody who's on the waiting list is as good as being selected. I think
Mm,
it's a matter of space issue now when you get to be on the waiting list. I mean, I will get encouraged if I don't get selected anywhere, if I was on the waiting list. I will know at some point in my life I made it. Space was just an issue.
yeah.
And I think that will make me then apply. I will never give up from that day on.
Really?
I will not, because why? I've made it. I've made it. Only that space was an issue. That's what a waiting list does. It implies. A waiting list basically means you've made it.
Mhm,
Only that, remember, and I usually say this, psychology is not about just the performance during the selection, but
mhm,
also the heterogeneity of the class, of the group is very important. If there are
mhm.
two guys and they need to take one, it's not that you can't make it, only that we just have to take one between the two. We need to balance. So even
Yeah,
if you're on the waiting list, you have made it, only that we had to
yeah.
select one between the two. And so, I mean, it will encourage me to continue because I've made it somewhere.
Mhm,
Only that space was an issue. And remember, I will detach it from myself in a sense that every institution want a particular kind of cohort.
mhm.
So a friend of mine who gets selected somewhere, I will not see it as necessarily them being better than me. It's just that they are more a better fit for that institution than I am. It
Mm,
ends there. I might be a
mhm,
better fit somewhere, and you find they might not be the better fit of that institution. So
mhm.
for me, I will take it that way and keep on applying. What There's nothing. I won't even attach it to me. In my mind, I got selected somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just not a fit for them. Those were feet were taken, but I've made it. It ends there, you know. So, but I think so I understand where the mentors were coming from in that regard. So in 2025, you have made it another institution in Stellis, but a fit was an issue. And I mean, you put it well when you say you were similar, but obviously in that similarity, no people can ever, similar doesn't mean identical. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean the same. You
Mhm.
get my point. So those distinctions will still speak to the best fit for an institution that one might match and one might not match.
Mhm.
You know,
True.
so I think that should encourage anybody to get shortlisted. Don't give up. I know shortlisting, you might not get anybody rejecting you, get accepted, but I think it's a huge achievement.
That's true.
Shortlisting and last stage of the selection. If you reach last stage, you get selected, or even if you get shortlisted, they've got different levels of, I think, affirmation that one can learn from. So yes, you get shortlisted here, and what happens then after that?
So I had to now garner some strength
Mm,
because now I'm heading to my last institution, right?
mm,
But
mm.
before I get to my last institution, my
Wait. Because so Stellis, you went and then you got shortlisted. Your last institution is what? Is which one?
UK then,
UK is the 10. So
yeah,
SMU, what stage did you reach?
it's SMU and it's UL, right? The
Yeah,
last two, right? And
yeah,
I said at the beginning when you asked me this question, I would prefer not to divulge on the details, right?
yeah.
To not give off that university that did me so
Yeah.
bad.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's fine. Yeah, no. I think package it nicely so that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we hide the identity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are left with UKZN
Yes.
or the last university. Let me say the last university. So what happens?
I mean, prior to that university, I think I have to go back to one of the two universities that I didn't divulge on,
Yeah.
where I had my biggest um, sort of, I would call it a rejection. Um, because what happened was, obviously, I was invited to the selection week. Then I went through certain stages. Then
Yeah.
there was a particular stage where I'd
On on on
received,
on both of them.
yeah,
Tell me, did you go beyond one stage on both of them?
yes,
Wow. No, you were on
yes,
fire, You were on fire,
yeah,
let's be
yeah.
honest. You were on fire,
So,
Come and give us some tips. Yeah. Wow.
so yeah, man. Between the two universities, there was a stage that I'd reached,
Yeah.
and I mean, I received, and you know how anxious you are when you have just completed an activity,
Mm,
and you're just waiting for that email that tells you that you are moving on to the next stage.
mm,
So I mean that particular morning went to do my activity. I mean, I was confident in terms of how I
mm,
was performing, right? I was
mm,
even more confident because I was doing certain activities that I haven't done in the previous selection weeks, right? I was like,
mm,
oh, okay. I mean, it's not bad after all, right? And
mm,
it was also affirming to me, good to know. I mean, you know your stuff.
mm.
And I mean, I went back to my place. I was just relaxing, trying to unwind. I just called
Mm,
my family just to tell them, how everything went.
mm,
Then I got an email, right? When I opened the email, oh, okay. It's
mm,
written that you have proceeded or progressed to the next round. I mean, I was happy, I was ecstatic. And I remember I was sharing a room with someone, and we were all happy. Everyone was
Wow.
happy because
Wow.
I got there and I explained to them. I was like, "Yo, this whole thing is very difficult. So
Wow.
please don't mind me if I'm isolating myself because
Yeah.
I need to prepare. So
I
we were
need to
all
gather
happy,
myself. Yeah.
right? The whole house
Yeah.
was happy. Then 6 minutes after,
Mm.
uh, we are sorry.
Oh.
There has been a human error. You were not
Oh
supposed to
no.
progress to the next round.
Oh no.
I mean, sure.
Oh no.
You, you,
Oh no. No, 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 no.
I mean, I'm laughing now.
Sure.
I mean, I
No,
instantly
that's
went cold,
devastating.
right?
Ah, no, that's devastating.
I mean, I instantly went cold. I mean,
Sure.
time stood still. I was dizzy, at some moments because, I mean, I couldn't believe what I had just saw. Especially given the fact that we just celebrated like 6 minutes prior to the email, right? I had told my friends, I had told my family, and everybody was happy, right? And
Mm.
6 minutes afterwards, I get this email. Sure, I was so devastated. I was so
Now I can
angry.
imagine. Sure,
I
so
mean,
sorry.
I mean, I was experiencing all kinds of emotions,
I can imagine. I
basically.
can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'm thinking to myself, these people are, I mean, they are psychologists. They know how tedious
Mm.
this process is. They understand what it takes,
Mm.
to just be there. Don't,
Mm.
put aside the fact that you have to go through different,
Mm.
stages and be tested and so forth. Just being there, it just takes a lot,
Mm.
you know, for them to be so reckless, you know,
Mm. That's
and,
unprofessional.
it's very unprofessional. I mean, I
Mm.
was so angry, and I remember, I mean,
Mm.
I couldn't cry in front of my roommate. I just,
Sure. Yeah, no, I can imagine.
I
That
just
was so
waited for
devastating.
the night time when everybody's sleeping.
Sure, sorry, man.
Man,
No,
I
it's
was.
bad, It's so
Mm,
bad. I mean, now that we are talking actually, I'm reminded yesterday somebody sent me a WhatsApp wanting me to intervene. Her niece got a message from this institution. They are sending her information about how to register for the
mm,
psychology master's program. But the
mm,
person was, and the person was, I think the person was invited for the interview, but didn't make it. But now it's getting invite to register, you know?
mm,
And then later the person gets a letter as well that there was a error. I can't remember the wedding. Maybe it's the same wedding that you are speaking about. What did they write on that email? When I saw it, I'm like, psychology, psychology. You can't afford to do this. The
mm.
heading of the letter is what's that message? I want to check the heading. Where's the letter? Let me see. Me, I'm gonna read it. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. They sent. What time was it? Here it is. Uh, erroneous admission letters to study at the university in 2026.
Oh,
That was the title of the letter.
sure.
So the person was called, like the way psychology affects you, even if you get it, you didn't go for the invite. You think maybe there was some error somewhere. I was supposed to go to the invite.
No, right?
And if you went to the invite, you were rejected. You think, no, no, maybe I was accepted somehow. Because, I mean, how do you do that? Did I tell
Sure.
you that I actually used to call people who got rejected and accepted at UP?
Sure.
I used to do that. It was the most horrible job to be given. I don't know
Mm.
why they gave. Maybe they hated me. What did they give me?
You
What
should
did
have
they give me
rejected
that
it.
to do? I only enjoyed calling people who got accepted. When I had to call those that rejected, it was good. You know,
Oh.
when your call holds the dreams of people, either to shatter it or, to tell them, what, your dream has been certified. You can continue. Wake up
Mm.
and live your dream.
Mm.
So, man, I really, yeah, I feel for you for that. I mean, that was a very, very bad experience. Horrible. I don't wish that for anybody. I can just imagine. I mean, how do you even call the people and now explain that no, there was an error?
Right.
How did you, yeah, cope with that?
I mean, it was very difficult, right? Because, I mean, coming from my background, I mean, a
Mm,
person's success or failure, it is a community thing, right?
mm,
So it's not something that you only celebrate by yourself.
mm,
You also
mm,
tell other people, that
mm,
you have been successful and so forth. So, I mean, having to do that again, to call the people that I've mentioned that I did go to the next round. I mean,
mm.
it was such a horrible experience. It's such a
Sure.
horrible experience. Especially, the worst part, when you call someone
Mm.
and they like, no, it's gonna be fine. No, you just wanna cry even more.
Sure. Yeah, no, no, it's very
So,
bad, man.
so I had that. I mean, I had to break it to my mother. I had to break it to my family. I had to break it to my mentors.
Mm,
And especially them, they were so mad because they understand, I mean, the journey. How
mm,
difficult it is.
mm.
As
No, it's
much as
very
you
bad.
could, yeah, as much as you can
Mm,
explain it to your friends, to your families, they don't really, really, really get it, right?
mm,
So having to hear my mentors be as angry as I am, right?
mm,
It was sort of comforting because I was like, oh, at least there are people who really understand how
mm,
bad the thing
mm,
is.
mm.
So
No, it
I
was
mean,
a
I
huge blunder.
didn't, yeah, I really didn't cope. I remember I had like 3 or 4 days to prepare to go to another university.
Mm,
I didn't want to go. I wanted to catch the first bus and just come home, right?
sure.
I
Tell
was
me,
literally,
so tell me, at this point, did you have another invite which was pending you attending, or the invite only came later?
no, I had already received the invite.
Or you had already received the invite? Okay.
Yes. I no, I had
But already,
received, not, no, I hadn't received it prior to this. I think I received it in between
or
the
at least there's a
selection process.
consolation to
Yes.
consolation a bit.
But I didn't want to go.
Is it?
I, I
Sure.
mean, I did. It took a lot of convincing. It
Yeah.
really did take a lot of convincing because I was like, I mean, I am done. I mean, if this
If
is what I am
if
going to be
if if,
subjected
if
to,
psychology is so difficult and the people inside don't take it that serious, how do you even
right,
gather?
right,
Sure.
right. So it took a lot. I'll have to say it took a lot of convincing that I ended up. I think a day. I ended up
Mm,
booking a bus to travel to the university.
mm,
But also going there, I'm like, sure, man. I
mm,
have to, sorry about that. I have to go there and just do this thing again,
mm,
subject myself to the process.
mm,
I
mm,
was like, oh, I can't do this. But
mm,
I mean, I listened. I was
mm,
able to just console myself, be reassured by those
mm,
who I call, friends and family. And I mean, I went there and I just tried my best. That's when I went to Stellenbosch, right? I was going to Stellenbosch. I was traveling to Stellenbosch. Yeah.
Okay.
And I just got there and it became, now Stellenbosch, it became the best for me, the best selection week that I've ever had amongst all the universities that I've attended the selection week. I mean, they were so kind, they were not trying to trick you in any other way. I mean, they really wanted to know you as a person, right? And
Yeah.
personally, I enjoyed that.
I think you're the second person who shares about Stellenbosch and the experience, because I think somebody else, I don't know whether was it in Shabo, I can't remember, but I think somebody also shared a good experience about them, and the fact that it's not about trying to be tricky to get you, it's getting to know you, which I think it's what we wish psychology selection can get into, because I don't know this thing of trying to trick people. I remember, I mean, back in the days, I used to hear stories. I think
Mhm.
maybe now, I think now it got better. But back then, it's like as if they used to, poke on people to irritate you,
Mhm.
to get whatever negativity out of you. But I think, I mean, institutions like Stelis that, go out of their way to make it comfortable for the candidates and
Mhm.
make it a conversation where they get to know you. I think that they're really appreciated, because I mean, you're already stressed, you already have issues. You don't need to
Yeah.
be able.
Mhm. True, true, true,
Wow.
true.
But then I can imagine then if this experience happened before the Stellenbosch, where you were very confident and you thought you were selected and you are on the waiting list, how was then your morale after the waiting list?
Sure. I mean, being in a position where, I mean, you don't know how to feel, you know.
Mm.
You still, even though I was at Stellenbosch, I'm still trying to process the
Yes,
previous
yes.
experience.
Yeah.
And you sort of have to juggle that with being prepared for the next selection
Mm,
week.
mm,
So to
mm,
be honest, I didn't really know how to feel, you know,
mm,
and what was my morale at the time. Understand?
mm.
I was just trying to just like, let's just push, right? Because I was like, this year, I mean, if I don't get it, I mean, it would be an indication. It would say, hey, bro,
Abafuni.
Abafuni, try something else. Try
Yeah.
something else. I know how many years you've invested in trying to get into this.
Mm,
But I mean, you can try something else. And I think that's one of the things that I learned from my mentors. I mean, I
mm,
was quite fixated in getting to masters that
mm,
you
mm,
you sort of miss other opportunities in life, right?
mm,
You stop
mm,
trying to do something. You understand? You just fixated in getting in. And I think it could be in the long run a bit, um, it could be a disadvantage in the long run.
yeah.
Because what if you don't get in? What if it takes you another 7 years,
Yeah.
without you being
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
program? And I think that's the thing that was different. Another thing that was different about me this time around is that
Mm,
my mind was now open to other possibilities, right? I was like,
mm,
if this doesn't work out, maybe I could try something else,
mm,
right?
mm,
And I
mm,
think when you do that, the pressure lessens, right? It,
mm,
it doesn't go away, but it lessens, because you know that
mm,
if it doesn't work, if I don't get in, I can do something else. It could be trying another, career, going back to school, or redoing your matric so that you can study another degree, or trying business. Your
mm,
mind is just open to many possibilities once you tell
mm,
yourself that, hey, I mean, I want to get in, right? I have the desire
mm,
to be part of the program. But if it is not
mm,
my time yet, I can still do something and come back and attempt again.
mm,
Yeah.
mm, 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 mm. Yeah, look, man, I mean, it's quite a journey. And honestly, you need people behind you to guide you and also to support you. And I like what you
Mm.
say that it took a lot of encouragement. Because imagine if you didn't have people around you to encourage you to pursue it, you know.
Mm.
And
Mm.
also thanks to Stellis for making it even easier for you
Yeah.
to settle in. But somebody might be watching and asking because usually it becomes a bit tricky when you go such a horrible experience with this institution where they make an error and you have to go for another interview. My question now is on, did you tell them at Stellis, did you share this experience or did you just keep it to yourself and focused on whatever they wanted to get out of you?
I did share it, but I shared it indirectly. We were having a group discussion, and I can't remember exactly what we were speaking about. But I ended up sharing that experience. And
Mm,
I shared that experience even towards the end of the group discussion session, right?
mm.
So when I went to the last round um, with a panel, we really got to explore that, right?
So you did have to speak about it thoroughly,
Yes,
extensively so, rather.
yes,
Is it? Okay.
yes, yes. I mean,
Okay.
also with them, they were trying to fish for the
It
institution.
didn't
I was like, no.
it didn't make you emotional. You didn't no, 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 just take your break.
Yeah, it was difficult even speaking about it. I'm just going to be honest with you. It was very difficult,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But also there was a sense of relief, you know. I was able to even process it, the time when I was given the opportunity to really tell them what happened, right? And they were very empathetic, towards the situation, and yeah, man, and I just used that to then push me
And
towards
but somebody
continuing.
might ask and say, maybe just for clarity, because and I mean these are questions that people are going to have maybe while they're watching. When do you turn between if I share about it, they might say, if others rejected you, maybe you are not worth to be a psychologist, we might as well reject you. Or if I share about it, what if I become emotional and I cry in front of the panel? Or maybe if I share about it, they might be empathetic and so you are rejected somewhere. Let's accept you
Yeah.
here. What was the thought process around it? Because I don't think it just came out. Probably if it did on the first day, on the last day, you had to process it and think about it carefully. To what extent do I want to share about it? Because I think these are the questions I get a lot of what to share, what not to share. So, how did you process that and come to the conclusion I'm sharing? And in your sharing, how did you handle that? Because I think you are very intentionally mentioning that even to them, you didn't mention the institution. Because I think that was very smart because you are also communicating to them the principle of psychology, the principle of confidentiality, you know.
Mm.
But was there intentionality around how you approach it and your thoughts around it?
Mhm. When I mentioned it for the first time during the group discussion, I was conflicted, because
Yeah,
I was trying to weigh the type of response that I would get, right?
yeah.
From the panel members as well as the people who were there, part of the group, right? But I'm going to be honest, when it got to the last round and I had to discuss that, right? I mean, it was the environment that allowed me to be authentic, right?
Mm,
At that
mm,
time or at that point, I wasn't conflicted. I felt very comfortable,
mm,
in speaking about it, and giving them details, right? So,
Sorry. So did they ask you as a follow-up to what you divulged the day before, or was it you volunteering the information?
no, it was a follow-up.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, it was a
Okay.
follow-up. And I was even more comfortable in going into detail because, as I said, the
Okay.
environment just allowed me to do that, right? I think if
Mm.
I were to have had a different environment whereby it was a bit hostile, right?
Mm.
Like I've experienced in some places, I think I would have kept it within. But because, it felt welcoming, it felt like you could say and be authentic and just be yourself. I mean,
Mm.
I was willing to do that, right? And
Mm. Mm.
I think it didn't backfire,
Mm.
judging by the responses that I got from there, and also by the feedback that I got at the end of the process.
Mm. 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 Okay. So you did that obviously on the waiting list, and the other institution they didn't select you, others they made an error, Stellenbosch waiting list. Then where to from then on?
Uh, to UKZN now, right?
Okay.
And how UKZN comes about, right? I think I
Yeah.
also apply on the last day of UKZN. At Stellenbosch, I was like, okay, fine, I'm on the waiting list. I mean, I don't think that I have the energy to
Mm.
do this again, right?
Mm. Mm.
And the same friend who got into UKZN kept
Stellenbosch.
on nagging
Yeah.
me, hey, bro, apply, man. Just apply, right? Just apply,
Mm.
And I was a bit hesitant. I was like, ish, okay, fine. I can see what man. Time is running out. It's last day, you have to
Yeah.
do your proposals and stuff and autobiography,
Mm.
So I quickly did that, quickly got my references,
Mm.
and I literally applied on the last day at UKZA, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Then,
Wow.
yes, we then had to
So
wait.
you only applied after the friend spoke to you.
Yes.
Yeah, no, very good friend. You must tell this friend to come here for the interview. Ask Cheleguti, why did he keep the info for 2 days?
I'm
Why did
definitely
he
going to
keep
tell
the
him.
info?
I'm going to definitely
after
tell him,
after you have bragged so much about being accepted.
hey, and he took my place at Stellenbosch.
Okay, so you apply to
Yeah, yeah.
UKZN and they invite you.
Yes, but we had to wait for like 3 months, 2 months, right? And
So
when,
tell me, when is the selection at UKZN? Because somebody was telling me they're having selection in December.
yeah, it was late in December.
Is it?
Yeah, in December.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
because the
yeah,
person was having interviews around the 23rd, if not the 22nd, around there. But it was very
yeah,
late.
yeah. Like we had them in December. I knew what you either having a good Christmas or a bad Christmas.
Because that's the last one in the year, eh?
It is the last
Obviously,
one.
there's no other invite that's gonna come after that one. If you don't make it now,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are done.
I mean, it's the last one. It's the last one. I also have this personal pressure.
Yeah,
My mother was going to retire on the same month as well, right?
yeah, sure. Yeah,
So I'm just
major
out
factor.
here and I'm just praying. I'm just like I'm just hoping that
Sure.
I get selected, right?
Yes.
Because at least, if I get selected, I will have the chance to, try and show
Uh,
up and
uh,
just do my best, and hopefully I make it in, right? But
mm,
at the same time, I just have this pressure. Oh, my mother's retiring. I mean, a lot comes back, right? You
mm,
you you remember those nights where you would sit by your room and you would hear her pray at night, right? And be like,
mm.
yo,
Wow, wow,
Lord,
wow,
I want my
wow,
child to make it. I don't want to retire
wow, wow,
before he gets
wow.
it, right?
Wow. You
And
hear you
we,
are watching. I told you we don't go there empty in the interview. People are
right,
praying here. Don't come
right,
here empty.
right. I mean,
Wow, 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 wow.
that comes back at that moment, right?
Yeah,
You sort of
yeah.
remember. You know, you sort of have a conversation with God and be like, yo, God, if you don't listen to my prayers, at least listen to my mother's prayers. You know? You know? I mean, all that comes back. It comes back. So yeah, after like 3 months, I get invited to selection week at UKZN. I'd applied to the Pietermaritzburg campus, right? And you know, someone the other day was asking me, why did you apply to the Pietermaritzburg campus? Because there's two campuses. And most people usually pick the Durban campus for whatever reason. And I was like to myself, the reason why I picked the Pietermaritzburg campus is that I know if I do not perform well, at least I can get into the car and just leave, because that's where I stay. I mean, I stay around here, right? So that's the reason why I ended up picking the Pietermaritzburg campus, because you couldn't select both campuses when applying. So that was my reasoning behind that choice. So I then received my invitation. I was invited there.
Wow.
I mean, I got there. I think there was around about 20 of us there who were present, or there were 10. I think there were 10, but 20 because there was 2 days, right, of selection week. And with theirs, you start Baba in the morning up until late, you know. It's just one day, right? It's unlike the other universities where you do maybe like an activity per day, right? So already with that, I'm just like a bit pressured, because I'm like, yo, how am I going to sustain my energy throughout, right? Given that it is a day's worth of activities, right? Whereas I know with my other experiences, you know, one activity or 2 activities per day is just enough. You know, you're good to go, right? So, I mean, all of that is going through my mind, you know, but I'm like, you know what? It's the last institution, right? I'm just going to give my best, right? I mean, we get there, we do the first activity, right? And it's a writing activity. Hey,
Okay.
I'm like, when I see the paper, I'm like, I mean, there's certain things that I don't know here, right? I'm like, maybe I know them. It's just that maybe I've forgotten about them, or I'm not well versed in them, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna try. You know, I'm just gonna try and see what I do, right? So that was like sort of the first activity. Then, with that as well, I was a bit 50-50. I was like, there's a probability that I did well, there's a probability that I didn't do well. You know, I'm just 50-50 because I was doing something that I wasn't clear about. Then on my second activity, it was a panel of 3 where they get to ask you, you know, certain questions. And I was supposed to be the last person to go into those individual interviews, right? And I mean, all of a sudden they were like, Mr. Makhathini, you have to now be the first one to do the activity. I think there was a guy who I had swapped with, right? Because he had a vision impairment, right? And he hadn't completed his activity, right? So for some reason, they decided to replace me with that guy. You know, they decided to
gathering your thoughts here, preparing your
right?
thoughts. Sure.
Right? I was like to myself, okay, fine. You mean, you know, we have to do this, right? But I am nervous. I mean, I'm sweating, you know. I'm not prepared. I just saw the paper and I prepared myself mentally that I'm going to be the last person, you know, to do this. You know, things now have changed. You know, I have to go first. I mean, I go in, right? I go in And I mean, the first couple of questions, I'm able to answer them confidently. So, right. I don't know what happened in the middle of the interview. I got so nervous.
Something happened.
Something happened. I got so
Sure.
nervous to the point where I lost my train of thought. You know, you know when you are answering, but you don't know what you are saying, but you can hear that I am speaking. Yeah. But you don't know what you say. I mean, it was so horrible. I mean, it was the worst for me. I mean, it was so horrible. I mean, to a point where I left the room, right? And I had a choice of leaving the room and going back to the waiting area where everybody was sitting, right?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not going there. I'm going home. Now my reason of applying, to this campus, right, has been activated. Now I can take the car and just leave.
So you're excluding
You
yourself
know?
already.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm done. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way that I'm coming back from this. No way.
Was it that bad?
It was that bad. It was really, really that. I mean, simple questions that they were asking me. I mean, I couldn't, right? I couldn't. I was stuttering. I wasn't making sense. I wasn't cohesive. I was like, no, I'm leaving. And I remember just walking out of that room and just leaving the entrance, right? Leaving the entrance. I remember I struggled the first time when I was trying to open because there's this keypad situation happening in the entrance. But eventually got assisted and I left. And I was like, I'm leaving. And nobody knew, right? I didn't see any of the other candidates on my way out, right? And I was like, I'm leaving, right? I tried my
So you're going
best.
home.
I'm going home now. What I came to do here, I've done it. I've done it to the best of my ability. Now it's time for me to leave, right? I came with a car, I got inside the car, and I was on my way out, right? As I was approaching the security gate, right? As I was approaching the security gate, ready to sign and just leave, right? As I was approaching the security gate, Dr. T, I remembered your code. I mean, I don't know why that code, right? And because it's something that I had saved, I mean, quite a long time ago, right? It's something that I saw, I think, on LinkedIn, and I read it and I liked it, and I was like, I'm just saving this, for future reference, right? But out of nowhere, I remembered your quote, right?
Okay.
And I was like, but I don't even know this guy properly. Like, I've seen him on social media. I don't even remember the guy, right? But somehow, in this point in juncture, I get to remember this quote, right? And I didn't remember the exact words because I hadn't memorized it, right? But I was like, I remember that this quote said something along the lines of, let the panel decide,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's a quote from the book. I think
Yes.
yes, I used to do that. I don't know why I stopped. I must now you're encouraging me. Now I need to do this.
Please.
So I used to take extracts from the book and make quotes. that I put on
Yes.
LinkedIn.
Yes.
So you are right. I think it's an extract where I said, do not exclude yourself. Let the panel decide.
Let the panel decide, right?
Yeah.
And I mean,
So you are
quickly,
remembering this while you are at the gate now, having excluded yourself, you are going home.
yes. And nobody
You remember
knows.
the code.
Nobody knows. No lecturer knows. The admin person who opened the door, I mean, nobody knows. My friends, they do not know. Family, they do not know, right? I've just taken an individual decision to just leave, right? And out of nowhere, right, I remember your quote,
Wow,
right?
wow.
Do
I'm putting
not
quotes
just
this year. I'm putting quotes. This year I'm gonna put many quotes.
the whole year, right?
This year I'm putting
I'm
wow.
like, don't disqualify yourself. Let the panel
Wow.
decide. I mean, I'm not
Wow.
even joking, right? I immediately stopped. I mean,
Wow.
I immediately stopped. And mind you, the security was approaching the car, right?
Wow.
I was just
To
short
give you the
of just
book to sign.
the $1 million
Wow.
signature and leave,
Wow.
right? And I just remembered your quote. I was like, no, man.
Wow.
I was like, no,
Wow.
I cannot allow this moment to define the entirety of the
Wow.
process. There is, I mean, out of
Yes,
nowhere, I had this
actually,
confidence.
on your LinkedIn page, I see you have written here an extract from Dr. Tebotebe's book on the selection process. Never disqualify yourself from the selection process based on how you think you answered the question. Let the panel decide.
Yep, yep.
Wow.
I was like, never. I am not going to allow myself. Yes, I did bad, but I'm not going to allow myself to be defined by just this particular
Yes,
activity,
yes, yes, yes.
right?
Wow.
I sharper U10 fast. I was like, I'm going back. Now I'm going back. I am
Wow,
going
wow,
back,
wow.
right? Listen what happens, right?
Yeah.
I parked my car, right? Remember that I said the administration building or the psychology building has that keypad thing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I get there, I struggle to get access to that building, right? I struggle to get access
Yeah.
to that building. I was like, is it you, God, maybe giving me sight? Is it you, that you are giving me signs to leave, right? But
Yeah.
I just had this constant voice, no, man, I mean, go back,
Let
go
the
back,
panel
go back,
decide.
go back, go back, go back. Yes. Then I ended up using your traditional knocking. I was knocking, knocking,
A person
knocking,
who was going home now is knocking on
right?
it.
I mean, up until somebody showed up, right, and they
Mm,
opened, then I went to the waiting area, and I mean, I didn't discuss this with anyone else, who was
mm,
there, right? I mean, I sat there and I started having conversations with others, and other people were sharing their experiences. But in my mind, I knew that because I wasn't sure of the first activity, and the second
mm,
activity was sort of horrible. With
mm,
the last two activities, I have nothing to lose. Nah,
mm, mm,
I just
mm,
have
mm,
nothing to lose. I'm just going to go there and just like do my best, right?
mm,
And I
mm.
remember being called for the third activity. I wasn't even nervous going into that activity because I
Wow.
knew that I had nothing to lose after that.
I mean, you have
Right.
already tended the gate. You have already excluded
Right.
yourself. What can be the worst?
Right. I was like, I
Sure.
have nothing to lose. Right.
Mm,
I mean, I approached that university. I came for those questions. I mean, I
wow.
came, and I mean, you could feed from the feedback that you were getting. I mean, the body language, how they were responding.
Wow.
I knew that no,
Wow.
man, I'm onto something here, right? I'm
Wow.
onto something.
Wow.
If the other panel members are like, no, we
Yeah.
don't want this guy. These panel
This
members were
one,
like, no, we want this guy.
this one to say we want him. They will fight
We
for
want
him.
this guy.
Wow, wow, wow.
I
No,
mean,
but you are right. You are right.
yeah.
Because I remember, I think one of the quote actually I've made, I said, it depends on each panel member's score. You know, if you exclude yourself while you've got an opportunity to redeem yourself in another panel, you need to use that opportunity. Don't use
Mhm.
one experience as a conclusion of the entire process.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
You are like, so this ones, they will fight for me.
yeah, I was like,
Wow.
this panel will definitely redeem me, because
Wow.
funny enough, the questions were quite similar to the first panel individual. So they're quite similar. And I was answering them with so much ease, right? With so much
Wow.
ease. I was flowing, there were no nerves. I was
Wow.
elaborating, making examples, showcasing the
Wow.
skills that I have as an individual.
Wow.
Um, so, I mean, when I saw, how they were responding to how I was answering questions, I
Mm.
think that gave me even more confidence, right?
Wow.
Going to the last activity, right? It gave me
Mm.
more confidence. I went back to the waiting room and I continued
Mm.
speaking. And then I finally opened up, right, about what
Wow.
happened, right? And
Oh.
I was telling this guy who was supposed to go first, I was like, hey, if I don't get
Hey.
in, I have you to play.
But I think that could have been also what affected you because it's a because psychology, I mean that whole process it's a mental demand on a person. So if you get off guard and you are not prepared, that can
Yeah,
really, I mean, affect your process. And
yeah.
you might find that actually played a huge role because you need to now switch and I'm here questions and sure. Wow,
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah, I think it
Okay.
did play a role.
Now I can imagine it did. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. Mhm.
Yeah. So you go back now to the waiting room.
Yeah, waiting room. Now I'm discussing. I'm telling this guy, I'm like, hey, if I don't make it, hey, my guy, we will sort out things after. After school is after school. After
I'm sure
school is
the guy
after.
feel better in mind that hey, I've affected this guy. Sure.
So I'm just like having a conversation with other candidates. I mean, and I have to mention, once you get there and you're having conversations with other candidates, you really get to discover that no, man, I mean, everybody deserves to be here. Everybody
Definitely.
knows this stuff. Yeah, everybody
Definitely.
deserves to be here. So
Definitely.
we had a chit chat. Then we were called for that group discussion. And even with that one, right, I was
Mm.
just flowing, right? I was just like, I'm flowing. I
Redemption
have,
sessions.
I was like, no, if they don't listen to that panel, here's a
They will listen.
reinforcement. So even with that one, I think I really outdid myself. I mean, I showcased a bit of critical thinking skills there, showing different perspectives,
Mm.
during the group discussion. But you know what? I left knowing that there could be a chance, right?
Wow. Wow.
There could be a chance, even though those first two activities, right, made me feel some type of way, but I knew that they might be a chance, right? And
Wow.
I just need to, yeah, rest my case and just hope that things work out in my favor.
So you did everything in one day.
Yes, everything in one day.
And the following day,
The
or there's no
following
following
day,
day.
no, the following day was another group of
Oh, so
of
they divide into the 2 days. You do
Yes.
everything in one day, and then after that, what happens?
Then you wait.
Then they select the class.
Yes.
Straight. It's
Yes.
a do or die, most. Certain
It's
death.
a do or die. It's a do or die, man.
Wow.
It's a do or die. So it was tough though. It was really, really tough having to be in that level of wanting to, to showcase yourself the best way that you can, right? Because I mean, as time goes by, right, the more you get into these activities, right? I mean, you get a bit trained and so forth, but you know, I was just determined because I knew that this is my last opportunity, right? This is my last opportunity. If I don't, sorry about that. If I don't make it
Make
here,
it.
then it means that me and psychology has to stop here and I
Done.
go try something else the following year.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, no, no. So you are done that day, and how long does it take for you to hear feedback?
Oh, it took so long. I mean,
Yeah.
it took so long. I don't remember how long exactly, right? But I think it took like 2 or 3 weeks, right? And you're just waiting there anxiously, waiting anxiously, to a point where I ended up, I was like, I can't wait anymore. I'm just gonna email them and just ask them, right? And that's when I received my acceptance letter to the program. Yeah.
Wow, wow. So you got accepted later when you emailed them.
Yes.
And why were they quiet?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I forgot to also mention that even with my invitation, I had
Yeah.
to email them and ask them what's happening, which is when
Sure.
I got
The
the
invite.
letter, yes, to say you are invited.
Wow.
Right.
So you got
So
accepted into the clinical psychology program at UKZN.
yes, sir.
Wow, congrats, man. Congrats, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Thank you. I
think
mean
you deserve it after all this struggle.
yay.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. No, look, I mean, I
Yeah.
remember when I read and I mean people must read your LinkedIn post. And just the title was 22 applications, 6 invitation, 1 waiting list spot. I
Yes.
think that should give an idea of the struggle, the
It's
journey.
been tough. It's been tough.
Wow, man. Wow, man. Wow, man. No, this is very great, man. And I'm so happy for you because I think, yeah, I mean, your story is full of it's a roller coaster. It's full of the up and downs, and I think one can. I mean, you can. I think at this point, any person who's trying to get into masters, if they sit with you, they'll get encouraged. Because I think you can encourage anyone. It doesn't matter the issue because we have seen almost everything in one.
Hey.
You've seen
Hey.
almost everything in 1 year. I mean,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
being given a wrong invite that you are proceeding, you don't proceed. You have been on the waiting list in the same year. You have been rejected in the same year in universities that used to invite you previously. You have got silence from, you have got everything in 1 year.
Yeah.
You nearly dropped out of the selection because you performed poorly in the first. Sure.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. And so when you got in now, what was going through your mind after everything that happened? Thinking that I nearly drove home. Look at me now. I got invited in the same place.
Hi friends, just a quick break. I know you're enjoying this program, but I just want to answer some few questions about people who still want guidance on how to access the book. You know what I usually recommend, that make sure that you get an ebook. An ebook, you can get it on Amazon and follow their process. Just click on the link below this video and then follow their process and you'll be able to get the book. I like the ebook process with Amazon because it is instant. You buy the book, you get it immediately on your gadget. But if you are in South Africa and you want to get a hard copy posted directly to your home address without leaving your house, all you have to do, there's a link below this video from our printers who were kind enough to help us with distributing the book. All you have to do, click on the link, fill the form, and they will be able to communicate with you on how to get the book. Usually it takes about 72 hours to get the book to you, and many people have been getting their books, so don't be left behind. See the links below this video on how to get the books. Let's go back and enjoy the program.
I mean, I didn't know how to feel, right? And I was very also hesitant to celebrating because I was thinking of that university, you know,
Yeah,
because I
sure.
have been through a similar situation, right?
Yeah,
So I was very hesitant, right, to
sure.
celebrate it, right? But I was like, you know what? Let me show my family, let me show my family. I showed my niece. I was with my niece here. I
Yeah, you are
showed her,
hesitant
and
now. Who do you show now? You are making
I'm
you are
very
you are, you are
careful.
cautious. So who do I
Yeah,
show? Like no, they say so, but I'm not sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm very careful, who I tell. I'm very careful, but I showed my niece because I was with her in the house.
Yeah.
Oh my word, she cried and cried
Wow.
because they know the backstory, right?
Wow.
They know the
Wow.
struggles that I've went through, not only academically speaking, but also
Yeah.
on the personal level.
Yeah.
They
Wow.
know the sacrifices, right?
Wow.
Then my mother was at work and I just came up with this brilliant idea. I was like, let me go to town and to go print out, the letters and
Yeah.
just put them nicely in an envelope. And then I drove to her
Wow.
workplace. I got there and I was like, hey, I just got this envelope. It's very important. It was basically, I was trying to prank her. I was like, it was left by the police officers and
Yeah.
they said I must give
Wow.
you this
Look
letter.
at you now. Look at you.
You should have seen her reaction. I mean, she was,
Wow.
confused, a bit scared.
Wow.
I mean, when she opened it,
Yeah.
oh my word. I mean, she was crying. She worked at a
Wow.
clinic, right? She
Wow.
was crying, she was screaming, she was telling everybody
Wow.
to come and celebrate with
Wow.
her.
Imthandazo yakhe.
Understand?
Imthandazo
Hey,
yakhe.
hey, sir,
Wow.
hey. She was
Abomama
walking
bemthandazo.
into, right.
Wow.
She was working in
Wow.
different departments within the clinic. She
Wow.
was
Wow.
crying. I mean, I
Wow.
couldn't even take my cell phone to capture that moment.
Wow.
I was so immersed in that moment, right? I'm
Wow.
like, finally, this has
Wow.
happened.
Wow,
Finally,
man.
finally. I mean, everybody was happy. I mean, the workers there were happy. I
Wow.
mean, even the patients, they didn't know what was
Wow.
happening.
Hey
you
guys,
know,
do you see how much getting into psychology means for people? People don't
right,
understand. Getting into psychology, it's like, I mean, your whole world. It's like you're getting into heaven.
right, right. Sure. I mean, everybody
Wow.
was happy, right? Going back to what I said is that when you receive this victory is not an individual victory where we come from. The whole community succeeds when you succeed, right? The whole community celebrate when you celebrating your victories, right?
Wow.
So everybody was celebrating. People who knew me, people who knew her, people who were total strangers. It was just a moment of celebration, right? Just a moment of celebration. I remember I came towards her knock-off time. She even asked, she was like, yo, I don't think that I can work the last 30 minutes. Can I leave?
Wow. Wow, 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 wow.
Can I
That's
leave?
awesome, man.
Right?
Wow.
Then we left
Wow.
and we just celebrated even when we got here, right?
Wow.
We
Wow.
celebrated.
Nkosingiphile, you are living to your name now. Wow.
Yeah.
My man. Yeah, no, this is very inspiring. I'm telling you. This is very, very inspiring.
Mm.
And obviously, I mean, people are watching, and that's what I'm saying. The inspiring thing about your story, it touches on different experiences of many people. And there are people probably watching who got no invite, which happened with you in 2023. Others are watching who got few invites and they didn't make it, and they're hoping that probably this year, maybe 2026 is their year, which happened to you in 2024. There are others watching who had horrible experience with universities, whatever form of error that might have occurred, and are hoping that they're not going to go back again. They can't be humiliated like that. There are others who are watching who probably walked away. We've never heard of them and excluded themselves, and they didn't have the opportunity to remember the code. Probably nobody prays for them for such divine intervention to happen for them. And they're there out there, and there are human stories that exist, and they are people's lives out there. And I'm hoping that maybe you can share some words of encouragement, because this journey, that's the least we could do. We could only encourage people and let them decide. So, any words of encouragement for those particular group of students who are at the different stages of their life? And you have experienced almost.
Yeah.
What words of encouragement can we give them? I think you'll be best placed to at least understand what people might be going through.
It might seem very simplistic, right? But what I would say is that you need to understand your why, right? I think that's what drove me to continuing applying, right? Continuing going back, right? To the very same thing that was quote unquote rejecting me, right? It is to understand your why. Why do you want it, right? And also, what has always encouraged me on a general level is that I've always understood where I come from. I've always been clear, as to where I come from. And I've also
Yeah.
been clear with where I am going, right? I think understanding those two things, they help you to navigate these challenges, because challenges are going to be there, right? If you don't face them, in your undergrad, you might face them in your postgrad level, right? They're inevitable, right? You will come across those challenges, right? But it is important to understand your why. Why do you want this so bad, right? And I was just talking to a friend, and he was saying to me, hey, daughter, I mean, we all wanted this, right? But there was something about you, we felt like as if you wanted this even more, right?
Wow.
And I did, right? And I'm glad that it was, I was able to, or it was able to translate to other people how badly I wanted this, right? So it's just understanding your why, understanding where you come from, where you're going, right? As someone from Ekasi, I understand my community, I understand my background. Someone who was raised by a single parent, who was neglected by their father, I understand my history, right? And I've always been encouraged to, in a way, change my future, right? Through education, firstly, but secondly, through this profession, right? So I think these are the two things that I would really tell someone else who is going through the same process that I went through, to just stick to those things, know your why, and just know where you come from and where you're going.
Awesome. I like that. Know your why and know where you come from. I think those are encouraging ways because clearly, and I used to tell people, if you believe this is it, go for it and go all out,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the discouragement on the way. And maybe also on just to touch on those who completed matric and maybe they are planning to follow a career in psychology. I mean, you got to know about it at your first year, but
Mm-hmm.
I think your eyes opened at your last year of your degree. Maybe just a words of encouragement for the newly qualified matriculants and who are going to start first in psychology. What can you say about just the field on its own, preparing them? Because I think those are the people I'm even more concerned about, who doesn't get to know about psychology until that third year,
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
that's what affects you. But if you are preparing to become a psychologist from first year, it becomes easier. When you
Mm-hmm.
get to the honors level, the masters, you are not learning things that new. When you're in class in psychology, you are like, hey, you've got people who have been psychologists before me. The way they speak this language. What
Right.
can you say to those people?
I mean, go for it. And when
Yeah.
I say go for it, I mean it in all senses. Academically speaking, study. Study. Do not fall into this bandwagon that tells you that you only need a 50% to
Mm,
pass, and that is enough, right?
mm,
Go for it. Make sure that you study. Make sure that you know your work. Make sure that you know your theories. Make sure that you
mm,
do your research. I think that's
mm.
one part that we sort of
Yeah.
forget, especially people who want to sort of specialize in clinical or
Mm,
counseling, right?
mm,
Know your work, right?
mm,
But also, what I would say is that go out there and volunteer, right?
mm,
Don't start
mm,
once you are doing your honors, right? Or when you want to apply for your master's. Start as
mm,
early as possible. Get that volunteering experience, right? Go
mm,
out there. There are different organizations that provide those opportunities that you can sort
mm,
of explore, get the feel of the field, right? Get the feel of it, but also get those mentors as early as possible, right? People who have been
mm,
in the field, right? People who are
mm.
still attempting to get into the field, right?
Yeah.
Get in there, reach out to them, talk to them, ask as many questions as you would love to know about the field, so that you may be informed, so that you could make informed decisions, so
Mm,
that you could know which specialization you want to go into. It's either
mm,
clinical or counseling or the other specializations, right? I think
mm,
that's very, very much important.
mm,
But also going to varsity, not everything is about school, not everything is about academics, right?
mm,
Go out there, have fun, make friends, join different societies, join your, organizations where you could vie for leadership positions, so that you could work on certain skills that are going to be very useful, right? Once you get to this point where now you have to apply for your master's, right? There'll be skills that you were able to pick up along the way that are now useful, right? I remember at my honors class, as I said, it was very interactive, right? We did a lot of, presenting the work, right? And I used to hate that, right? I was like, why doesn't a lecturer stand and just tell us, and we're good to go, right? But I mean, those skills from someone who was, a bit shy, right? I mean, they allowed me to come out of my shell and to be more confident in myself, right? And I saw how they played out during my master's, selection weeks, right? So they do help, right? But yeah, university is there for you to work hard, but it's not always about academics. I mean, just go out there and just enjoy, right? Have moments that you'd one day look back, and sort of remember and reminisce about, and So yeah, man, and just all the best to those who are going to universities, especially those who are going for psychology. But I also would like to also speak to Amajit. Yeah, well, I know this profession is not known for guys.
Female dominant.
It's women dominated, right? More especially black guys. You understand? I mean, this is a wonderful profession, that you can go into, right? It is very, very flexible. Yeah, well, so I do also encourage those guys who are thinking of going into psychology. Good time, we need more of you guys in the field, right? I'm the only guy in this cohort, right?
Wow.
The only guy, in this cohort. So we need more guys. We need more black guys, I understand, so that we can tell our own stories. You understand?
Yeah.
So that we can safeguard our own experiences as black people in this South Africa that we live in today. So yeah, I'll definitely say that.
Are you the only guy or the only black guy in the class?
For clinical, I'm the only guy.
Is it? I don't know why it happens. Like, I mean, yeah, maybe it goes to what you are talking about, being female dominant. Because I mean, even in my class, there were two males. There was another African-speaking gentleman and me, but he dropped out, I think, after some time. So I remain alone, So, and almost in different institutions, the story is the same. I think at most you can get 3 guys in the master's program, but often it's either 2 or 1. And I don't know, I think it has an impact on you where you're the only male. I think if the one male perspective, we are representing all the 8 males.
But I think it's also the numbers, man.
Yeah, no, it is the numbers, but I think also if you look at the proportions, how many males apply compared to the females, I mean, it's still not that balanced, But I totally agree with you. I think the males should come to the profession. I think it's a very good profession because I think the more males you have, the more you also create a platform for males to open up and talk about their issues in line because, males might feel more comfortable to speak to males, So I totally agree with that. And also to the matriculants to enjoy. Varsity is not just about studying, but to have that balance. So thank you so much, man. I think this was very, very inspiring. Nkosingiphile Makhathini. I think God has given you, my man. What you do now with psychology, it's up to you. It's up to you. You've been given.
Thank you, Dr. T.